Hi and welcome. Community Storytelling with Lissa Kreisler and Steve Wozniak. I probably don't even have to say his name. Oh yeah, there's Steve. Steve, look at me. I cannot believe I'm sitting here with you. So I have to just calm down because this was sort of on my bucket list. I have to tell you a story real quickly. I was about 2 years ago, I guess, when I was doing the morning show at KCAT with Sam Van Zandt, Music in the Park on a Thursday night, and you were there. You were like in the first row, because you're in the first row of everything. Yeah. And I said, oh my God, I want to meet Steve, I want to meet Steve. And he took me over, and you were so kind to me, and I said, I can take that off my bucket list now. And here I am sitting with you. How about that?
Well, you know what? I just always, my life, just want to have a normal life and do the fun things everyone does. And I would even ride my Segways down at those Music in the Parks.
And I could tell you did have your Segway, and I thought, oh my God, am I really going to go up to him? But I went up to you, and there we were.
Yeah, so, and I love music. It's been an important part of my life, even for inspirations of, you know, just philosophies, life philosophies, and how you're going to live, your personality.
And lucky you, because Los Gatos has the best music in the park for the summer. So you're right here. You're right here. So how many times do you think you've been interviewed?
Oh gosh.
I know. What do you think?
There's no way to count it. And I never go out and seek an interview. That's one thing. But I'm in places, anybody wants to interview me, yes, if I have the time, of course.
And I'm sure
there's one of me and there's a million of you is the problem. so I don't memorize, I don't remember them, but it's got to be many thousands.
And always serious, I'm sure, about business and Apple and this or not. Okay, good, because today's going to be fun. Can we do a fun one? Just
that's all I do.
Kind of be silly? Okay, good.
Well, that's all I do. Occasionally business can be fun, but only certain aspects of it. Whatever it is, it has to be something somebody would say, wow, that's interesting. Maybe it's a hot new type of product that didn't exist.
Is there a question you think you've never been asked? You say, I don't know why nobody asks me this. They should.
It turns out that I actually do a lot of public speaking now, and I'm on stage being asked questions, and I get asked almost every time at least one question that is kind of new. Yeah, it makes me think a bit.
Yeah, okay, well, let me see if I can do that today. I don't know. But I'm going to start with Wikipedia. I know you've read your Wikipedia. It's a chapter book. Your Wikipedia is a chapter book.
Okay, speaking of Wikipedia, let's see, I guess 2 days ago, because of the transfer time and dates, I was in Munich speaking, and the day after me was going to be Jimmy Wales.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So Wikipedia, I read it, about a week ago because I knew I was going to interview you. And I said, oh my gosh, this never ends. It's got everything there. I'm trying to.
I don't like to read it because I usually will spot, just like I would never read books about Apple, I'll spot too many errors. And this is not how it was. That was wrong. Oh, it's a wrong impression. And so it bothers me. So I don't like to read it. I go on, for example, the Electronic Frontier Foundation was an important part of my life. And you go on to their Wikipedia page and hardly mentions me, like I was just sort of an auxiliary. I was one of the key founders. It was Mitch Kapoor and I were the first two that agreed to put in the money, and a third one put in money. And I was on the first board for a year, and it doesn't even act like I'm a founder. I was just there or something.
Well, there you go. Shame on them. But it does mention, let's say, it gives you all these job titles. Of course, co-founder of Apple, American inventor, programmer, philanthropist. I always catch on to that one because I love when people give, and you give so much. What else did it say? What other titles would you give yourself? Well, dad, of course, husband.
Dad, husband, and just being nice to people. I care about people, and I want to help anyone else, and especially anyone younger. They should be given the maximum inspiration that they can make decisions as well as the adults in a family. Let them learn early that they just aren't always, I'm just a little subject, I'm dependent, I only do what other people told me to do. Let them think creatively. So I try to inspire that. I try to inspire people to think about, starting companies. The startup experience is the most incredible thing in the world, and it really didn't exist before companies like Apple.
You're right.
So I try to inspire young people. I say, look at us. We were in our young 20s, no business experience, no bank accounts. We didn't have a savings account. We had no money. We didn't have any rich relatives, so we couldn't really sponsor ourselves. I mean, but you can still do that if you have some good thinking, you believe in what you're doing, and you work at it. Now, we had a big advantage, which is we were doing something that we believed in, but none of the big smart people of the world, the huge companies with millions of dollars, today it's billions, none of those companies thought it was really going to be worth much in money, so they ignored it. And if we were right about what we thought the industry would turn out to be for personal computers, we would have failed. Yes. No question, if we'd been right. But we were wrong. We couldn't see what other people would do with our product that finally made it, in some cases, irreplaceable and a substitute, something that never existed and was important. So so kind of like it also is nice to be in the right place with a good product at the right time when the world decides this is what we really want. So luck is the most important superpower of all. I used to talk about, okay, blackjack, if you could see through the dealer's cards, you could instantly know how to play better. That would be a great superpower. But luck is always better.
Yes,
with
isn't
luck,
that
you
the
don't
truth?
do anything and you win.
That's right, and you didn't ask for it. It just found you, in a way. I mean,
Yeah.
you worked for it, but luck, you can't explain luck sometimes. You just can't explain it, right?
So, but yeah, it's a big part of it. And a lot of people, after they're successful, want to say, oh my gosh, it was only because of what I did. And what I did, I know exactly the importance of it. And both starting the company and personal computers as a product category that was successful. But, you know, but then a lot of people want to say, oh, it's just because I could think out what a computer should be. And look at Steve Jobs. He tried to think out on his own because my computer was the one that was Apple's only successful product for the first 10 years of the company. We started with such an incredible product. This was going to be the start of a big company.
Yes.
But it was all mine. Steve wanted to believe that he was so smart he could define what a computer would be. But he kept trying to make other computers, the Apple III, the Lissa, the Macintosh, and they all failed. And they failed for real big directions. He didn't really know what a computer was that well, but he got a lot of acknowledgement. But he marketed the Apple II well. He did great things for Apple, and when he returned, he brought us the iPhone. So.
Yes. Now, do you have every single Apple product there's been?
No, I have an awful lot of them, you know, but I believe in all the institutions of my life that helped me get somewhere, especially schools. So one of my years of schooling was actually at De Anza after a great year away in the snow. And so I gave my own personal Apple I, Apple II, Apple III, Lissa, Macintosh, all my early products. I gave them to a display case down at De Anza College in Cupertino.
Wow.
Because I try to give back in any ways that I can. But I didn't, after a while, you can't afford everything Apple comes out with.
Well, I think you
pretty
can.
much I've had,
I think you can.
almost every model of iPhone, and almost every model of iPod, and the real big products. But I kind of get through them. I want the newest, latest, greatest to see what people have thought of that didn't exist before. I like to see what's new in life, and I like to see it in competitors' products. So I buy a lot of technology that's not Apple, the really highly recognized stuff, and play with it. And and I wind up learning that, like smartphones,
Yes.
every smartphone in the world is good. And you can't say, "Oh, if you don't have an Apple, you have a really lousy one." No, it could be great for them. You know, everybody's their own. But I learned real early in life. I had philosophies that led to don't argue, because I came up with a formula. When I die, is it how successful I was, how much money I made, how many products I created, how many companies I ran? Do I want to be that person running all these things? And I don't like the idea of power over other people. I want to be equal. So then I thought, no, if I died and every day I was telling jokes with my friends and playing little pranks and having fun, the feelings I get were so emotional and so good, I came up with the formula that life is about happiness, and H equals S minus F.
Say that again.
H equals S minus F.
Okay.
I did this when I was about 20 years old. Happiness, and that's when your personality is forming, 18 to 23. And I said, happiness is feelings, so it's smiles minus frowns. So I always try to do a lot of fun things, follow the interesting things in life, even weird people, even if they're a little bit on the kind of the criminal side, but it's unusual, it can be fun, the sort of stuff movies would be made out of. But go to concerts, music's important to me, and listen to comedians, tell jokes, the element of creativity when you can make a joke yourself that never existed. So I make jokes every day of my life. I just, when they come to me, they come to me. And I play with people all the time. But how do you minimize frowns? Okay, that's the real secret I came up with. And I came up with it is, don't argue. If you have to believe, I have a line of reasoning. My head is smart and mathematical, and here's how I come to my conclusion, and somebody else comes to a different conclusion. They must be wrong. I'll try to convince them. You never win. So when I was 20 years old, I decided, just don't argue. I've got my line of reasoning. They have theirs. We're both good. We're both believing in some kind of structured, calculatable, how you do things in life. And so always try to be, my dad had told me, where you go in your life is largely based on how people like you. So I decided I would always be likable. I have no enemies to this day.
And that you are. I got to say that. You got that smile.
And I had a little bit of influence. I never became religious, but my first year of college, people are kind of exploring religions, and I did a little. And I liked some aspects of it got into me of goodness. And I said, I can think, I have a brain, I can think out what's good and what's not. And one thing I came up with was, I said it already. I said don't argue.
And I want to know, do you not argue with your wife and you don't argue with your kids?
Right.
You really live that.
I'm very
you
good.
really
You
live
cannot
that.
be 100%. You cannot be 100%.
Yeah.
But you can throw things out in a non-argumentative way. You can point it out. Here's my line of reasoning, but always recognize that theirs is good too, and if you don't, if two people don't agree, they're both good. But here's the more important thing: if somebody's bad to you, there've been a few people that did bad things to me, you're still good to them. That's how you have to be, and I've been that way totally in my life. That's just how I am. So I don't have any enemies.
I believe you. And is that how you get in front of the line all the time at the Apple stores when the new products are coming out and things like that?
No, yeah, I get in line here in Los Gatos and other lines.
You spend the night?
Wherever I'm staying. I might be in another city.
Yeah.
And I spend the whole night. See, I do it like any normal person. I show up, I spend the entire night. I was even helping one group once for one of the early iPhones. It was in the Apple store in Valley Fair Mall.
Yes.
Man, and I was inside helping the workers in the store prepare for it and pass out keep track of the lines and everything. And somebody wrote an article and said that I cut ahead of the line. This is all arranged.
And even if you did, that would have been okay.
That would have been.
You're Steve Wozniak.
Well, if it's arranged.
Yes.
No.
No, I know.
There was another time though. I happened to be in Sydney, Australia.
Yeah.
And I like music. I was in Brisbane, Australia. Brisbane. And there was a concert of a group that I liked. It was Julia Stone. So I went to it at the Brisbane Festival that night. And then I got a taxi ride downtown, pretty far away to the Chemside Apple store because they were introducing the iPhone 5 the next day. And I was kind of back in the line of ways, but people invite, no, come on up, you stand here. They kind of do that. I'll accept a gift, but I don't ever try to,
Right.
Well, actually, one of the most horrible things in my life is I'm holding somebody else up and taking preference over them. Like my driving style, to cut people off or to slow down looking for things. If there's somebody behind me, no, I will pull over to the curb. I get embarrassed. It's one of my little frights in life that somebody will think that I'm holding them up.
So let me teach you a word today. You are a mensch. My mom, Yiddish word is mensch, and it's the best you can be.
Good.
And you are a mensch.
I've heard it before, and I don't know if it's good or bad.
M-E-N-C-H. Well, if you've heard it before, because other people know you're a mensch too, you are amazing. How many apps do you have on your phone?
I don't measure quantity of apps as having any meaning at all.
Yeah?
I don't count them. I know it's over 100.
Wow.
But I know that I keep a few just because they are major Apple apps and they belong on the phone even if I don't use them. I have never used Apple's stock app, for example. I don't do money. I don't do stocks. I don't want to play a game of, I'm watching this, I'm watching that, I'm watching that. Well, how does that make you happy? Remember my key to life.
Yeah.
So I've never used it once. And there's a lot of other Apple apps that I almost never touch, but I keep a page of them. And pretty much at the end of a day, I start looking at which apps did I run today.
And what do you
it might
usually?
be 20 apps. And every single one of them was critical to me at the time I ran it.
So,
everyone was important. Some of them are just the standard, text messaging and FaceTime and phone calls once in a while. Some of those are kind of critical when they come up, but it's like things like getting reservations with an airline, stuff you could never do in the past. What would I have done in the past? I'd go to a phone that had a fixed connection to the wall, so I'm restrained, I'm not free, and I would have tried to find a number, call information, get a number for an airline, and call them and hope this, and I'm not going to tell you about the times they messed me up, but now you just right on the app, you get informed of everything. I mean, I love how useful it is.
It is amazing.
One of my two favorite pieces of technology, like this month, is my Apple Watch does so many things for me. I mean, we're lucky to be in a town here in Los Gatos where they've got about the only 24/7 subway probably in the whole San Jose area. We've got it.
Yes.
And because I get back late on airplane flights, and all last night it was from Munich, and I can always go there and get something. They take Apple Pay. Pay. It is so easy. Everything that makes life easier, even if it sounds like, well, what's the problem with you and a credit card? If it's one step easier, I didn't even have to get a phone out of my pocket. I didn't have to get a credit card out of my pocket. It's just, I don't know, I love that kind of luxury and freedom because I always had a rule. When I taught myself to be an incredible engineer designer with digital circuits, how do you use fewer parts than any other normal engineer would think of? Totally different. I would always violate the books and just come up with techniques that use the fewest parts in the cheapest ways. Well, get the middlemen out of your life. The little steps you do. Wait a minute, I did all this stuff just because it's easy and I can memorize it. And it might even be something like dusting a table. But does it really get me something, or am I doing excess work over what's really needed? I always think that out. And also, why do I want somebody to contact somebody else to pass the message on to me? I always like to skip the middlemen whenever I can. Just cut them out of the circuit and be more efficient. So my ideas of engineering and efficiency stayed with me forever in my designs and in life.
Does your brain ever stop? I don't think so.
Well, it doesn't want to stop because this is an interesting world to me. All the change, and I'm near technology, so I'm following all the things going on in technology, you know. And no, I find that very interesting. Somebody else might find it in political science or construction or something. That's good for them too.
So you have 5 children?
No, believe it or not, I have 3 children of my own.
Yes.
And at one time I had 3 stepchildren, and all 6 attended this high school that we're at right now.
Really?
High
How
School.
fabulous is that?
And they went to other schools. So.
And you went where? Where did you go?
Well, I kind of lived in a little part of Sunnyvale next to Cupertino and Los Altos. So my elementary, middle schools, and high schools were in different cities.
What high school?
High school, Homestead High School,
Homestead,
Cupertino.
okay.
Very proud of that. And
do you go back now and then?
Great. I actually sometimes drive by just to look at it and go memories. I dropped in once on the staff there, and they remember me. And then I took my wife and walked around and showed her where I did certain pranks, some great ones. But
so you were a bad boy.
But also, and also in the early days of Apple success, I had all this money. I didn't want any of it, and I gave tens of millions of dollars of my own stock to 5 other young people that were in high school back in the days before Apple. This is before Steve Jobs even knew I had a computer. And they were part of encouraging me, and I felt, what is a founder anyway? They should have something. Not just there were 3 of us at Apple, not 2 of us. Steve Jobs, myself, and then a third equal partner was our funder, Mike Markkula. And he ran marketing. He was the one who told us how to set up a company. He was the guy who made Apple, really. But why should 3 of us have everything and the others don't? And then I gave tens of millions of dollars of my stock to all the normal employees so they could buy the stock before the IPO, and they all made about a house out of it. Because I felt they're working for the company. It just, I don't like, so in life I've been very dedicated to avoiding the, unfairness type things.
So let's say I didn't get the final count on kids. We had 3 and 3 stepchildren.
Yes, and at one year people would say, how old are your kids? And I got to say K-12 that year. The youngest was in kindergarten, the oldest was in 12th grade. And another year they'd say, how old are your kids? One was in elementary school, one was in middle school, one was in high school, one was in 2-year college, one was in 4-year college, and one was in grad school.
And you have grandchildren? Do you have a grandchild?
I have a grandchild now. My son married an Australian.
Wonderful.
They live in the Sydney area of Australia. He works at a university. He's very, very gifted and technical. He won the math awards at his schools like I had done.
So your kids are like you?
Oh, no, by accident. I did. They were all really good in math, but who knows why. Maybe that I think it's less important what you learn and more important how motivated you are and love it and want to learn it. That'll drive you a lot further than actually having the knowledge. Okay, I was a teacher for 8 years of elementary school. It's not well known. In Los Gatos, elementary and middle school. But here's why I did it. When I was in 6th grade, I told my father, I want to be an electrical engineer like you, and second, I want to be a 5th grade teacher. Eventually, I had my own kids, and of course, I was giving millions of dollars of computers to the local schools. That's what you kind of do if you're a tech success. And I thought, well, that's easy. If you got a lot of money to give it away, that's an easy thing. You give yourself if you believe in something. And I believed so strongly in education that I went and I started teaching, but I never let the press near because, and it was in the public schools here in Los Gatos. I sent my kids to public schools. I've got my reasons, but it was that, well, I didn't want the press in because kids would read stories. They'd say, that's not what happened. They'd discover that the press can never get things right, and I didn't want dishonesty near kids because part of my philosophies that I developed when I was 20 is that the apex of all good is honesty. Everything that flows from true honesty, you just don't hide things because you have a reason, that sort of stuff. It's just how I decided to grow up. I know I'm very lucky. I'm not judgmental about anything either, but anyway, so I taught for 8 years. And I wrote my own lessons. I didn't use a book to make it easy. Apple wanted me to make a CD about my lessons for 1 million people. And I said, no. I want to reach 20 to 30 young children that I'll know personally. I'll go to their college graduations in some occasions, and still keep in touch with a lot of them.
Wow.
I just wanted to be that teacher. So I just made up my courses, how to use a computer for everything in your normal schoolwork.
You are amazing. You are amazing.
But that one's not well known because I didn't let the press near it. But it was so dear to my heart. 8 years, I got up to where I was teaching the 5th graders of the one school, the entire 5th grade class of Lexington Elementary School in the Santa Cruz Mountains. And then I would teach advanced classes of 6th to 9th graders. And then I would teach teachers. And I got up to where I was 7 days a week of my life, I was doing teaching. how to use the and this is early days of computers when the laptops had just appeared and almost nobody had a laptop, and I made it a part of these students' lives and everyone I taught. This will make you a little superior, a little more capable in life, a master of your own life more than you were before. So,
of all of your honors, and you've received so many of them, which one means the most to you?
Well, my proudest day is definitely a photo I see of my college graduation, because we founded our companies called College Dropouts without our degrees. And I had 1 year left to go. I was a good student. I didn't drop out. I took 1 year off to earn the money for my 4th year of college, and that year turned into, things like Apple that you can't escape. So I didn't get so I wanted to go back to school. I had an airplane crash, and I had an amnesia for 5 weeks. I didn't know time was passing. I didn't know anything was going on. Nobody knew I had this forward anterograde amnesia, it's called. Nobody knew that I had it. Doctors that were around me, my parents, my friends, they just thought I was weird.
Were you flying the plane?
Yeah, I was flying the plane. Crashed on takeoff, 4 of us in the plane. I was hit the hardest.
Where was this?
It was a little airport in Scotts Valley, where I'd had a home once, and come in. I remember every step of that day, everything right up to reaching for the throttle, and I can't remember pushing it. My memory stops at that point.
Wow.
Because it got jiggled before it became permanent memories. And I got hit the hardest, but I was lucky, because if a tree falls in the forest and you don't hear it, did it make a sound? Okay, I don't have a memory of a plane crash. Did I ever have one? No. I got in a plane ride again. I just flew just like I was. No anxieties. It wasn't like I've had a plane crash. You don't know it. But I had amnesia for 5 weeks, and one night with logic, I talked myself out of it. And all of a sudden, my head was forming memories, and realizing it was in a part of my head that wasn't forming memories. So I called up Steve Jobs the very next day, and I said, the Macintosh team is in great shape. Burl can learn to design as well as I, a guy that never went to college a day in his life, had learned from me. And I said, I'm going back to college to get my degree. It's my last chance. So I went back to Berkeley under a fake name, because my name was well known. And my Berkeley diploma says Rocky Raccoon Clark. That was the name I used.
Where'd you come up with Rocky Raccoon?
Well, I had a dog named Rocky Raccoon, and my wife's maiden name was Clark. So it was kind of family. It was kind of family. But you might as well do things fun. Yeah, I didn't want to be Bill Smith.
Yeah. I was going to say, what do you do for fun? I think your whole life is fun.
Yeah, someday I'm going to write a book, a prank book. And some people will never, ever believe my 3rd year of college at Berkeley. That was a year, but the pranks I played from high school on and all that, I mean, I play them to this day.
What are we going to call this book?
One thing is, I thought about writing it as a book, and now I'm thinking of writing it as maybe just videos on YouTube and having other people involved telling the stories of what they remember. The other night we were having a dinner with some old friends, and one of them remembered when I had my classes, we discovered that Fry's Electronics had I don't know, something like a 6-pack or a 12-pack of Coke for $1, but you could only get one per person. So we took like 30 students down or something. Okay, you guys can each find a program for school and a program for fun and buy it and pick out what you want, and I'll buy it, but you have to get the Coke.
You got to get the Coke.
We brought all these Cokes back, and we built a big wall around one of our people's cubicles, just like we were back in college.
So I know you drink Coke now. Coke or Diet Coke?
I drink sodas. I drink sodas, yeah.
You coffee or
different
tea?
Types.
Coffee, tea?
I'll drink coffee. There have been times in my life where I went absolutely no coffee and don't even notice a difference the day you do it.
Wine, beer?
I never had a drink of alcohol till I was 30, and I've only been able to drink some white wines. And now beer. I've worked for 25 years as the only alcohol I taught myself to like in the right situation. In the wrong situation, I never want beer. I don't like the taste of alcohol, and I don't want wine, so I almost never drink wine. Very rare. And beer, in the right situation, it's the perfect drink. I don't know how that happened. I've never been able to drink red wine in my life, except once when it was made of cranberries. not grapes. I don't know. There's something chemical that bothers my mouth about alcohol, and I've never used an illicit substance in my life. I grew up with all my friends, even the bright people, all the marijuana and LSD and all that. But I'll tell you, I've always stood for drugs shouldn't be illegal. We'd solve a lot of problems, society, law enforcement, everything. If it was just legal like alcohol, we'd also have a lot fewer overdose deaths due to bad materials that come from people who are, crime breakers, not, official laboratories that are certified and all that. So I'm so glad to see what's happening in a lot of states. It's just making marijuana legal, because everything I could ever read in my life and witnessed, I was around the people at high school. I'd be around them, I just wouldn't do it. And it's just like it makes people peaceful, and alcohol winds up with a lot of fighting, and I'm against conflict and
That's
fights
right.
and
No
everything.
arguing. No arguing.
So and the health benefits, there's not one health benefit to alcohol, you know, and there's the marijuana. So why do we make it illegal? It's just people I want you to be like me. It's bigotry. You be like me and you're good. You be different than me, you're bad. That's you know.
I can't let you go without hearing about your dogs, because I know that people see you all over Los Gatos walking your dogs. What kind of dogs? What are their names?
Okay, I've had dogs for 35 years in my life. I have loved and remember every single dog that I have exactly. I remember dogs' birthdays better than my own kids. I don't know why. It's just like a dog is kind of like a child up to age 2, needs the attention, or they can't even survive. And so I hug my dogs, I talk to them, I pet them, I scratch them. I hate to miss them. I have to travel a lot these days, and when I get back, I just hope they remember I'm not just a temporary dad, I'm real.
I think they do.
And
I can imagine.
The ones that I've had in late times have been smaller dogs.
Yeah.
But I've got great stories. I mean, I used to jog around Los Gatos, and this one of my dogs, I'd get up at 4 in the morning. Only once did I ever sneak out without him coming in. He'd jump into the car, and we'd drive to the high school here, and then I'd do my run from there in those days.
So what do you have now?
I have Bichon Frisés.
Oh.
I've had them before. There was a time in my life where in one of my homes in Los Gatos, I had 3 Bichon Frisés born into my hand in my house. And I named them X, Y, and Z. And 2 went to relatives, and I kept Z. I loved Z. I fell in love with him. So both of my Bichon Frisés now, we thought of Z names, Ziggy and Zelda.
Love them.
The
Love him.
brother and sister, they're
Are
actually
they?
twins because they're from the same litter. But, and we're going to take them back to the breeder when she hits her second heat. We're going to take them back to the breeder to breed them with the breeder's dogs, because they have, although we just want family dogs. They're just members of the family. We don't even try to make them fancy. I hate that dog show thing. It's not my life.
Yeah.
But their grandfather, these 2 dogs, their grandfather won the Westminster, whatever it's called, dog show, Westchester.
Yes, the Westminster
They won the
dog show.
overall champion, was their grandfather one year.
Wow.
Little Bichon
Look at
Frisé
that.
named just
Look at
right.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I could talk to you forever. But I know I'm getting the signs saying, you know, Lissa, Lissa, this is a story that never ended. Will you come back?
Yeah, and especially stories about starting Apple. My God.
Oh my gosh.
But it goes on for hours. So
well, so you will come back.
Yeah, I will.
We got a date. You're going to come back.
I will come
You'll
back.
You'll bring Ziggy and Zelda next time.
Yes, and I love doing this. We're so near my home. I almost rode my Segway. Usually when I come to something this close, I ride my Segway down, and
so we have a new fan.
Today I drove my car, and of course they would be having a football game, and
Yes.
the parking was. I'm sure if my car isn't towed yet.
So KCAT TV 15, we have a new best friend, Steve Wozniak. You are a joy, and I am going to remember to always smile.
This was a joy doing this with you.
Now, so this is off my bucket list.
Happy
You have
back.
one thing that you got to get off your bucket list?
No, I only have 4 things on my bucket list currently. It used to be 2 things. Used to be to see Ayers Rock and get to Tasmania, Australia, and I will do those probably.
Yes.
And the other 2 things, though, that I held for a long time was to see. I've been to a lot of Eastern European countries, and I love it. I love them all so much, but I've never been to Romania. So that's Bucharest, and I've never been to Ukraine, where my name comes from. Although I'm Polish heritage, the name spelling Wozniak is Ukrainian. And so I've never been to Kiev. In the next month, I'm going to be in both those, Kiev and Bucharest.
Absolutely
Lucky
amazing.
for speeches, yeah.
And we've got to get you a raccoon. So you can name him Rocky. Well, you already have that name.
You know, living around here, you see raccoons.
Oh my gosh! Well, you have made my day. You are a delight. You are a mensch, and what a storyteller, huh? That's community storytelling at its best. If you've got a story, because everybody does, you want to share it, you know where to find us, kcat.org. And of course, thank you so much for being with us.
Let me add one thing.
Okay.
Where did my dog's name, Rocky Raccoon, came from? My early dogs were Siberian Huskies. Siberian Huskies have kind of a mask face.
Yes, they do. There
like a
you
raccoon.
go.
Yeah, so
there you go. So
he was named Rocky Raccoon.
We have told you everything. We have told you everything today. Thanks for being with us. This has been a joy. KCAT TV 15.